up, Big Steve?
Shout out Mikey B. PFL World Tournament 8 Championship. I think this is the second one. One's already happened. Oh, no, wait. This is the first one. My bad. We're going to break it down from a betting perspective, and we're going to look at some odds, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to do the UFC tomorrow. Looking to start August with a bang. I do have one bet already, which is on ONE FC, but it's the promotion tonight. It's not on Bet Online. A lot of people don't have odds for it. So if you're interested in it, just hit me up personally. But yeah, we're going to try start with a bang here. Let's get through it. A lot of shitty fights, and then we'll move on. I'll get out of here, and then we'll go to the UFC. I'll do a UFC podcast tomorrow. Quiz. Shout out Big Steve and Mike Bisbin. Correct. Shout out both those guys, whoever they are. Alrighty. First fight. Matt Turnbull, Pat, Tom Pagliaro. There's a lot of these bums on, opening up PFL recently, just regional dudes. I'm not really interested in this fight. Tom is like, it's a striking guy, kickboxing guy. He's got a lot of power, knocking out a lot of these dudes. And old mate Matt Turnbull he's a grappler. And under is chalked to the $1.46, under 1.5. I'm not really interested. I feel like if it's going to hit, Tom's going to get a KO. So he has a lot of round one KOs, but he has a few that have extended. He's gone to the decision against Zapone, against Garib. He does lose to grapplers, so who knows? Maybe he can lose this fight, but I'm not really interested. Just a stupid fight. It feels like a CFFC co-main event. I've become very good at moving on from fights quickly and just not forcing myself to tape a fight that I've started to tape if I don't like it. Like, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing it for a living because I choose to do it. If I think the fight's shit, I'll just move on. So that's what I've done here. Speaking of shit fights, Sarek Shield versus Nick Mech. For some reason, that doesn't roll off the tongue as much as you would think. Grappler versus grappler. Tough fight to get a read on, honestly. Both guys can be taken down. Both guys are sniffers. I think Nick Mech has slightly better power, underrated striking. Sarek Shields has 2 losses. They were both via KO. One to Alfonso Leiva, got deaded cold there with a knee. And then Thad Jean, who we'll speak about in the main event, knocked him out with an overhand right in round 2. He was doing good against both these guys. He was grappling him. As I said, he's a big sniffer, a physical sniffer. And his best win, I will say, hands down, is Joseph Luciano, who he beat in the last PFL. I think because of that, we have a little bit of recency bias. He was a bigger favorite before. Luciano had a bit of hype on him. He's from Australia. I always said he was all right, but he's definitely overrated. He can be taken down, as we've seen, by Storley and now by even Sarek Shields. I think there's a bit of recency bias because Shields 30-27 them. But Nick Mech, can also be grappled. And, he was out grappled by Kevin Peace, JP St. Louis at CFFC. But he does have good back takes, good submissions. He's got 2 Kimuras, got a rear naked choke on Alan Dominguez. This Dominguez guy, I always mix him up with Casio. They're both from Lux. They both have like blonde hair, like tattoos. So we'll speak about Casio later down the card, but just a little tidbit for you. But yeah, I just feel like both these guys can be taken down. They can take the other one down. It feels like a back and forth. Mech kind of slows down a bit, but he has more power on his hands. So again, another fight that, from a betting perspective, it's a dog or pass, clearly. But I'm not interested. Like, why would I bet on 2 untrustworthy, glass cannon grapplers? Just not interested, man. Not interested. This is a PFL card, and these first 2 fights just reek of low-level PFL prelims, Alrighty. Let me see what we have in terms of totals. Over 2.5 rounds, close to minus 200. I would honestly play the under and hope for the best, right? But no conviction. Like Nick Mech, let me have a look. He submitted Dominguez, which is whatever. He knocked out Aston Clam. What a name. As I said, a lot of Kimuras, but these are like really bum level competition. No, I'm not interested in this fight at all. Not even from a totals perspective. Nathan Kelly, Frederick Dupras. I said this was a dog or pass as well. Kelly never a chalk, unless he's getting a bum. Frederick Dupras could be a bum. Never been over 1.5 rounds. The best guy that he's beat was just recently Arnett in UAE Warriors, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look. Jesse Arnett. Oh, it was Samurai MMA. Pardon me. Jesse Arnett. He's the brother of Arnett that was in the UFC. I think that was the worst Arnett. So Jesse's good. He was a UAE champion, I'm pretty sure. And he submitted with a guillotine choke in round 2. He was a bit more patient there. Otherwise, this guy's all systems go, all, chokes. He's been knocked out by a bum in 51 seconds. He's been submitted on the amateurs. And he got submitted by Gabriel Braga. So he could be knocked out and submitted, which is why I think Kelly's the favorite, because he kind of has a bit more power, a bit better striking. Whereas Dupas kind of seems submission or bust. But Nathan Kelly can be submitted too. Just back-to-back fights, by Kim and by Magomedov. And yeah, we've seen him hurt by Kim before and hurt on the regionals as well. So it's just such a volatile fight. I did say that I would rather play the under 1.5 rounds because both these guys are untrustworthy. But the thing is, obviously the bookies are on it. The public is on it. Minus 200 made sense. And it felt like I was going to play it at minus 200. It felt like you could give it maybe 70, 75%. But I think it's absolutely destroyed. $1.43 now. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's going to look like so obvious. I'm still tossing up whether I force it or not, but I don't think I will, because not forcing some of these plays in the UFC recently, Kevin Holland and some of these parlay pieces and this bullshit has saved me. So I might just exercise good discipline, and if there's no value, there's no value. He went over 1.5 rounds against Ahmed Magomedov. So there's that, but went over against Damian Nelson. That's a good fighter. Scott Peterson, good fighter. Don't know, man. It's under or pass. It gives you a little bit of round 2 equity, but I'm thinking I might just play round 1. Fight ends in round 1. I don't think we'll get full-on props. Maybe on BetOnline, but I'm just going to wait. It's under or nothing, personally, but it's also dog or pass, but who the hell knows? Alrighty, let's go through the comments. Shout out JKC, thank you. 6 Hound, Sarek Shields looks pretty good last fight. Beat a decent grappler. Yeah, I mean, Luciano's a decent grappler, but he's got shithouse takedown defense. Quiz has a Gene and a Juge parlay. That's interesting. That's, I'm going to say, a little bit sweaty. Dupras for the dub. Yep, could happen. Free KSO. I don't know who that is. Z Grant. Maybe you can clarify your comment. Hussein Karimagomedov, Kyle Driscoll. This was a dog or pass. A lot of people said, look into Driscoll. I started, and then some of his fights weren't working on Fight Pass, and that just pissed me off, so I just left it. But this guy fought on Contender Series a while back. He's not a bad fighter. He knocked out James Lynch. He did all right, going really far against George Hardwick, all the way into round 4. Beat Dennis Piper. That was on the Contender Series. Ray Trujillo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a dog or pass now, just because it's come in quite a bit. Hussein, got fraud checked by Mosain, who was on all the steroids. The thing is, he's only 25 years of age, right? He's a little bit gassy. He was beating Kim, and then he got knocked out by him in round 3. So I've taped that fight a bunch of times. It's quite annoying. It's got some crazy rock and roll screamer music on YouTube. I don't know about dog or pass now. Now it's come in quite a bit. I like the over, honestly. I like the over, but I need to do a bit more extensive tape. Yeah, the over 2.5 rounds. The under is taking a bit of action, but we'll have to see. We'll have to evaluate properly. It's just these first few fights, I really didn't have any interest in them, honestly. It's a tough tape. Jacob Kazuba versus Sergio Ocasio. Ocasio is the guy that I said reminds me of Dominguez. Just they seem like twins in there. They're kind of good, but they're kind of fraudulent. I really wanted to play him against Romero. I didn't. I was hating myself. And then, he got treated accordingly by Derek Saunders. Kazuba, massive favorite. Like, this guy is an elite ape/sniffer. He should be able to sniff out Kosio, but he's been hurt before. But the thing is, he gets hurt and he wins. Jakub. So that's the thing. He's a reliable weasel. If anything, I like the under 1.5 rounds here, personally. Just kind of banking on Kazuba, finishing him again. Over is minus 200. I'm not interested in that. I don't want to rely on Kazuba grinding out Casio and not finding the finish. Because if this line is, accurate, there should be a finish there, right? And he has finished people. He's finished John Mitchell from the back, 30 seconds over the under 1.5 rounds. Knocked out, finished Maxim Radu. Like, he gets a lot of back control, but sometimes it takes a while to get the finish. So could he get Sergio Casio out of there sooner? Maybe. But that's what I'm thinking. But no, again, another fight that I don't have strong conviction on. It's just a bit of a shit show fight. Casio has been rear naked choked by Rodriguez, back in 2017, but all these other guys is fighting is just bum fights. All right, let's move on. We're on to the main card already, and we're smashing through it, and honestly, that's about the amount that this card deserves, in my opinion. But we will finish off on, I'll say, at least 3 high-level fights. MMA guy, Kadi Magomedov shouldn't be at this weight class. What do you mean, my friend? Is he moving up or something? Featherweight. Let me have a look. Featherweight, lightweight, featherweight. All right, so he's gone back to lightweight, but he was a lightweight before. He's 25. You got to remember, this guy's gonna grow. He hasn't stopped growing at 25. That's for sure. 6th round. Casio is a bum of all bums. All that disrespectful. What does that make Romero when he fraud checked him? How does Casio have professional MMA wins? Man, he's a dog. You have to respect the dog mentality. Alrighty. Jordan Newman, $1.10 favorite against Aslam Abdul Basset. What could go wrong? Grappler versus grappler. Jordan Newman showed to have some improved striking over his win as an underdog against Aliyev. That was a great performance. Stuffed, sprawl, and brawled. And he's a massive favorite again. He should be the favorite. I don't really rate this Basset guy. He has a lot of wins, 16-2 before he got fraud checked by Mark Shipman, but he got knocked out there. Look at his topology picture. That's a perfect topology picture. That's how it looks in his fights that he wins as well. And the Iron Man is an ironic name because he's not an Iron Man. He has a fraudulent chin. So I get it. Jordan Newman should stuff the takedowns here, and he should outstrike him. He's done it before against the better fighter in Aliyev. $1.10. What the hell do you do with $1.10? Set at 2.5 rounds on Bet365. Over 2.5 rounds is slight minus money. Maybe that's the path. Jordan Williams. I remember I played one of it, I think against Cody Herbert. He's been getting fed bums in Bellator, and I think that's the one that I hammered. And he couldn't finish Cody Herbert. Other than that, it's usually positional finishes, crucifix, rear naked chokes, kimuras. This Basset should be able to survive. Maybe that's the path. The over. 1.5 rounds is very chalky. It's a bit disgusting. So let's move on. Again, hard fights to cap and to really have to find value, personally, in my opinion. 6th round. Romero retired, I think, after that. Yeah, Romero was always kind of a failed prospect. Ever since they didn't sign him in Contender Series. It's a shame because he is talented. Alrighty. Asayla Jude versus Yiz Landu for a lower level fight. It's pretty high level, right? Ajuj has a good striking background. He has some good wins. He's coming to the Bellator with no grappling, and he's grappling offensively in a lot of these fights. He knocked out Jordan Barton, the current FNC champion in Croatia. Good win, aging well. Beat Sasu, another striker. Knocked out Fontes. Beat Jose Perez with a guillotine choke, which is impressive. So he's leveling up, man. He's only 26 years of age. All right. But he still can't be grappled. He still does stupid shit. And as does his opponent, Yves Landu, who is probably one of the most athletic 38-year-olds in the game. Right? Basically, both these guys are winning splits. They're slim margin kind of guys. Yves beat Jonas Bellarino via split decision. I think he was an underdog there. He was plus 170. He beat Iso Kabayashi as a minus 200 favorite. This is this old regional Japanese dude. He barely beat him. He was getting grappled there, grapple left. And he won that fight. He beat Piotr, which was, I think, a 29-28. This Walter fight was a 29-28. The dude is slim margins, and so is Asael Ajuj, unless he finishes you, you know? And he's minus 200. So there's a bit of value on Yves Edwards and Yves Landu, pardon me. So I'm kind of tempted. And the over, it's extremely chalky, which means it's going to go to a decision. And I feel like it's going to be another 29-28 or a split decision. Ajuj has better striking, but Landu's explosive enough to keep it competitive. He hurt Ballerino to the body with a knee, who's another good striker. Yeah, it's a dog or pass. But do I lock it in? Don't know, man. I'll have to circle back around to it. It's a tough one. Alrighty. Before we hit the two best championship fights, look at the comments. MMA guy, Cash Ajuj, sub last time out, was on the toilet as it happened at 5 a.m. Work flew by that day. Well, thank you for so much specific information. Stick sound, that Jonas fight should not have been a split. But here's split margins. Aaron, Mick, Driscoll, Joe Pag, round 2 TKO. Well, all three of them? Round 2 TKO? Or are you parlaying Mick, Driscoll, and then Joe Pag, round 2 TKO? Oddly specific if you are parlaying that. Also, Joe Pag. What's Joe Pag? Tom Pagliaro. Popeyes, do you think under in the Pineda is one-sided? I do, kind of. I do. All right, let's get to it. Movlid Kabulaev, Jesus Pineda. Great fight. Probably two of the best featherweights outside of UFC. I mean, that's hands down. No argument there. 23-0, Movlid, never lost, other than the fact that he was deaded by Pineda. And here's his Pineda, 25-6, lost a few fights, a couple of them in the UFC stint, but he's leveled up a lot. Yeah, a lot of people playing Pineda. That's interesting, and I get it. And he was pick'em and similar price to Braga and pick'em to Borix, which still bothers me to this day. Not playing it, and there were strikers, and now he's a worse line against Movlid. The last time he fought anyone as good as Movlid or someone with a similar style was Bubba Jenkins, who extremely gassy, and you could say his chin was starting to go. And Pineda hurt him there, straight from the get-go. Was taken down a couple of times, but he got up and just kept hurting him. And Bubba made it to round 2 somehow and almost made it to round 3. And it actually got some takedowns against Pineda late because Pineda was just so tired from beating on Bubba. And then eventually it was a mercy stoppage. But Movlid, just a whole other level of physicality, athleticism. I would say wrestling as well. Like these Dagestani guys, some of them are better than the credentialed American wrestlers. And Movlid also has power on the feet, and he just wings brutal shots. He hurt Kennedy. He was landing on Kim brutally. Has a flying knee knockout over Chinny Damon Jackson, but he's been hurt before as well. Andre Harrison, Daniel Pineda knocked him out. It was a no contest because of the roids. He hurt Tyler Diamond as well, and he hurt, as I said, Jeremy Kennedy, but yeah, he got hurt by Jeremy Kennedy of all people. So I understand why the money is coming in on him. I do think he looked a little bit rusty versus Jeremy Kennedy, and he looked much, much better against Kim. I do think Kim is a better fighter than Kennedy, but he just couldn't get anything off. I think styles make fights. Kim was a little bit noodly, not physical enough. He's lost fights before, Kim, from getting grappled, and he almost lost to that Hussein guy that we just broke down. Hussein cut him out in Brave just because he kept getting taken down. Kim is like a guy that comes back. You take him down many, many times, and then he comes back and knocks you out if you gas. That's not a good game plan against Kabulaev because he can sniff you for 25 minutes. So personally, I would rather play Pineda, right, with the public. I just feel like he just has the aura about him. He's got the touch of death. He's fought a grappler in Bubba a long time ago. He seemed to be educated enough to stand up, to stiff arm, to constantly get up. But man, Kabulaev is different. Just different. I don't know. Am I getting any value on Pineda? I also thought about the under. And as someone asked, I do think the under is correlated with Pineda. It's set at 3.5 rounds, and it's better than his money line. But it's one of those questions. If I play Pineda money line and Kabulaev somehow finishes him in under 3.5, will I be more pissed off than than if I played the under 3.5 and then Pineda wins a decision or he wins a late stoppage over. It's like in this scenario, I always choose the money line. I just feel like there's more volatility in the totals. Maybe you can even live bet if you pick Pinedo and he's kind of winning, landing some shots, but then still getting grappled. Maybe you can, and it's extending and it's competitive. Maybe you can live bet more lead, but yeah, without overthinking it, gun to my head tomorrow, I would just play Pinedo money line and just hope for the best. Hope that he doesn't go over 3.5 rounds. Hope that he ends early. Hope that he's improved his ground game and whatnot since the Bubba fight. I see some people saying it favors him being a 5-rounder. I don't really know what we get that from. He slowed down quite a bit versus Bubba Jenkins. But again, that was from beating his ass. So, Movlead, man, he got hurt badly against Kennedy, and he came back, hurt Kennedy in round 2, and then he was still all right in round 3. Like, this guy can go. He's warmed up now. He's shook off the ring rust. He didn't seem to slow one bit against Kim, and he was just ragdolling him. He was landing overhands. So it's a tough fight. Tough fight. If some money comes in Movlead, look, I've been wrestling with it all week. If money comes in on Movlead, I think I'm just gonna put a unit on Pinedo and not overthinking. Go with the aura here. I think he's the only guy with an early finishing upside, so we'll see. Aaron Gianella. I'm on the Russian plus 120 money line. Thadji in round 4, TKO. That's very specific. Newman, I'm nervous. Might hedge. Newman, I hope you got better than $1.10, but Freddie Flintstone. Bro, I know it's old news, but what's your take on Castillo beating Eblen? I have no strong takes. That was at like 3 a.m. in the morning. I didn't watch it. I didn't bet it. Good on him, I guess. Good on Castillo. Eblen is boring as shit, so I guess that's an okay result. I like when things get spiced up a bit. Costello's a new champion now in PFL. Mix it up. We're probably going to get a rematch, which is annoying, but I wouldn't mind giving Eblen someone else, giving Costello a title defense. No strong conviction though. I don't really have a fascination with many of these PFL fighters. Alrighty, Thadji and Logan Storley. So, taping the last fight, Jeremy Jackson versus Thadji, where I was on Gene as an underdog. Or I wasn't actually, sorry, I live bet Gene when he knocked him down in round 1 at minus 200. Got the worst of the line, honestly. I thought I got a little bit lucky with the decision there. And I also bet at minus 200 versus, Muhammad Bekhamov, and I think that guy's a chinny and a fraud. And honestly, taping this fight, it's like, I would rather play Logan Storley. I feel like in that Jason Jackson fight, I do think he was very competitive and he's lucky. Thadjin was lucky to win. He got taken down many, many times and he worked his way up, but he's still a little bit green. He's 27. He's been green in a lot of these fights. Against Chris Brown, it was kind of close. Against Barakamov, he was also taken down. He went for a guillotine, but he got up, knocked him out. Jason Jackson, he went for a couple of guillotines. Ill-advised. On top of that, he was also grappling Jason Jackson, and the commentators just brought it up every single time. I wonder why he's initiating the clinch here. And, yeah, output, as 6 Sound says, Gene has great takedown defense, but his output is dreadful. I wouldn't say his takedown defense is great. He got taken down like 5 times by Jason Jackson. I would say his get-ups are good. But you don't want him to go for guillotines. He's not even going to sniff for guillotine against Logan Storley. Logan Storley wants you to go for a guillotine. He just feels like one of those damage versus control fights. Kikuri fight, Kikuri landed some shots in round 2. He worked his way up to a few times, and it looked like he might swamp Storley, but then Storley had a more dominant round 3 again. And it's like, what happens if Thadjin lands some of these shots? It's a 5-rounder. I don't really know who favors, honestly. I don't think either guy has covered themselves in massive shine when he goes 5 rounds. Storley's the only guy to go 5 rounds. He did it against Neyman Gracie. I was on him there, plus 140. This kind of feels the same. Everyone's like, oh, what's he going to do against Neyman Gracie? He has no striking, and if he takes Neyman down, he's going to get submitted. And he just beat the shit out of Neyman on the feet. This one, it's like maybe he can keep it competitive on the feet. not get dropped, and just keep shooting. Keep shooting over 5 rounds. Like, Thad Jean has not dealt with someone as good as Logan. You know, we've seen him fight Sarek Shields, and that was a competitive back and forth. He had his back taken, he was scrambling well, then he knocked out Shields. And same as Jason Jackson, just keep getting taken down over and over again. So it's a dog or pass for me, minus 200. 6 rounds. How does Thad Jean versus Shamil Musayev go? I think Shamil kills Thad Jean, unfortunately. Sick fight, though. I'm looking at the totals here. Over 4.5 rounds is pick'em. Wow, that's set for really late. Logan Storley's chin is not bad. You know, got knocked out by Musayev, and that's about it. Literally. Took a lot of punishment from Amasov. Good wins over Michael Venom Page. Yeah, it's a dog or pass, man. I'm just thinking, do I play the over instead? And therefore, you're not really banking on a winner in that one. If it goes long and maybe Thad Jean is keeping it competitive with a damage-based striking arsenal, that way you're not sweating. But Logan Storley, plus 180. What's his decision? Whoops. Just clicked on something. What's Logan Storley's decision? It's going to be something shithouse. Cool, not even there on Bet365. Let me have a look at BetOnline. Nice. This is tomorrow, and we still don't have props. That's cool. Well, if I could get at least $1 on Logan Storley decision, I'll play that. I don't envision a way in which he finishes Thad. He does have some good ground and pound, but he always drops the ball when it comes to finishing. MMA guy, get Musayev to the UFC ASAP. I don't know if Musayev would pass a drug test, but then again, you look at the last Ottoman's gyno. I forgot his name. The Turkish dude. And he passes the test, so I guess he's A side and much bigger, which is scary. Is he much bigger though? He doesn't look much bigger to me at all. They look the same weight class. Alrighty, that's it. We'll go over the reads and get out of here. Alright, not interested in his first fight or the second fight. Kelly Duprice, I like the under 1.5, but the bookies are on it, the public is on it. Hussein, Kyle Driscoll, I need to do more tape, but I'm just feeling like the over is the safe alternative. Maybe not, money's coming on it. Jacob Gasuba, I think he should rinse Casio. We'll see. Jordan Newman, he could rinse Bassett, but I think this goes over more often than not. Landu or Juge, dog or pass easily. Pinedo, honestly, is a favorite or pass for me. We'll see if I end up on it. And Logan Storley, over 4.5 rounds or dog or pass. And, you know, 5 round fights these last two, so it'll be good to live bet him as well. I was meant to go training. Let me see when this main event starts. Wow, that's a bit of a shitty time. 12 o'clock. I'll be smack bang at training. We'll see. That's it. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Tune into the UFC tomorrow.